Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. On today's video I'll be taking you through why planning ahead on Sorare is essential. Now planning ahead on Sorare is great for managers that are looking to play the fantasy football game, but also for managers looking for trades. And by planning ahead, that could mean between 4 and 8 weeks time. It could be planning ahead for the whole entire season and targeting a certain team or even a certain division when they play on those certain game weeks. And what you see a lot of time is managers panic buying. On the Thursday night before the game week deadline ends, might have 4 outfield players, but they need a goalkeeper for their Cap 240 team, for example. And that can be great for someone like you who plans ahead, buys an extra goalkeeper or an extra player to trade before that game week, when only the Premier League plays, just for example, or those that play the fantasy football game, having those 5 players you can definitely pick on that game week. Now I'm going to show you the Sorare calendar. For those that don't have access to this, all you need to do is type in onto Google Sorare calendar. I'll leave a link in the description of this video below. Shout out to the guys at Sorare Fans. Once you've typed in your email address here and hit subscribe, you'll get an email and that'll give you access to this calendar. And on this calendar, I'm just going to use the Scottish division mainly as an example. So hopefully you guys can see my cursor on the screen around this sort of time. It's game week 4, 3, 6, I think that is. You'll notice here a lot of European leagues, a lot of challenge leagues especially, do break up for a winter break. You'll notice some larger ones like Russia. Those that are OGs on Sorare will know how big and the impact of the Russia break is. Now this is really important when you're planning ahead. So for example, if you've got a Cap 240 team or any team in general, and you've got a couple of players from Belgium, a couple of players from Scotland, and your keeper is playing the Russia league, it's not a very good strategy in my opinion. That's why I always tell new starters on Sorare when they're playing the Cap 240 mode to have a low kind of size gallery. It's condensed that down to maybe 1 or 2 divisions. And again, the reason behind that is solely so you can try to match them up on each game week. So as you can see, a perfect example, and I hope you can see my cursor on the screen where the Scottish division plays here. So even as a trader or if you're playing the fantasy side game, around this sort of period, so your October time, can you go out there and get a Scottish goalkeeper, a Scottish defender? So on these sort of game weeks here, or even potentially someone in the Turkish division as well. And again, they play along with the Portuguese division in a couple of game weeks. It's trying to plan ahead. Now you might have 4 players that play in Turkey, and you just might need 1 forward and kind of complete that lineup. You can come onto here and see, these game weeks you might be lacking, 1 position. So it's always good to plan ahead. Those that do trade as well, it's a great opportunity for those traders. A lot of people, even like myself, sometimes panic buy. A week or 2 before the game week, I look ahead towards a weekend or next week, and I realise I might need a midfielder, a defender, forward, a goalkeeper card, and that's where traders make their big profits. You'll see a lot of traders and a lot of players kind of tend to go up on that Thursday night before the game week because people, maybe like myself, are crying out to buy a forward card on Sorare for that game week so I can fit a 5-a-side in for that weekend. And obviously fixtures can change. This calendar could completely be rewritten due to fixture delays, postponements, FA Cup sort of fixtures, and there's more utility as well for those teams that play in Europe. You'll have a lot more midweek utility. But it kind of just gets you thinking at the start of the season, do you need to line your gallery up to that certain division? And what my brother has done as well, just ignore the right hand side for the time being. That's not fully complete just yet. That only includes a few different challenger teams or divisions, and that's not including the Turkish league and the Croatian league, I believe, maybe a couple others. Now the left hand side is the champion Europe teams. So that gives you an example of when each champion Europe team plays, or division plays, sorry. So if the game week's not on there, it means all 5 more or less will be playing on certain game weeks. But as you can see, there's a lot of game weeks where the Premier League just kind of plays on its own. So is that telling maybe yourself to go out there and get a limited Premier League team so you can play the champ? Now, of course, you can play the All-Star, the Cap modes. You might have 4 Prem players and 1 player in the in the Eredivisie, for example. Definitely play All-Star. But for those that have 4 players in the champ and you play champ all season, I take a look at this and just see, if you can match up to your gallery, make some changes. That's very rough. It might not be completely accurate. So again, blame your brother. So can I just give you a bit of a guide in different game weeks on when leagues are playing together. And just a little tip, if you are looking for players in advance, you come across to Sorare data, hit the scout button and click on to play rankings. You can actually filter by game week. So just for example, I'm going to look at game week 400, just because I know it's a midweek game. And I'm going to sort by goalkeepers, and that will tell me the goalkeepers that are going to play that week. Now, as you can see, there's only 6 goalkeepers at this moment in time. Again, this could change with Champions League, all the playoff games at the moment. But this is a good way for those that are looking to plan ahead. Now, this only goes up to game week 420 at the moment. But again, planning ahead on Sorare data is essential in my opinion as well. And of course, you can use a lineup builder for game weeks in advance. So you can head across to lineup builder. This is my potential team for this weekend. Again, you can go up to 420, and you can see here for my team, for example, in All-Star Rare Pro, I can see, I've got it's one rare goalkeeper. I'm very low on attacking players. Molina doesn't play at the moment in time. I think he's injured. So, and then I've got potentially maybe Doria to put in here. Well, that's in fact too many super rares. So maybe that's telling me I need to get a striker or a forward and maybe a rare card. Now, I don't have to. And again, European fixtures come into play here. If teams qualify for Champions League, Europa League, that could completely change. But just give me a bit of flavour, a bit of knowledge when I plan ahead on Sorare for game week 420. And just going back to the calendar, looking at game week 436, which is Boxing Day, and I believe it's just the Jupiler Pro League and the Scottish Premiership that plays in Challenger on this game week. And what you can do, you've got 2 divisions. It's quite a game week. Can you target a certain team? Can you get a stack of a team or a couple of teams and that have really good fixtures? Again, I'm not going to predict more and go through all these fixtures, but you can see Club Bruges have a difficult game against St. Gallies. And you go through these teams, go through the fixtures, see which ones you fancy. Celtic away at Dundee. When do Celtic have a difficult game though? To be honest. So again, there's a few different games there. Just after Boxing Day, that game week. So try and pick a team and target that sort of game week. And try to finish up high as you can on that leaderboard. Again, for traders out there that buy and sell cards a lot of the time, can you focus on buying goalkeepers, outfield players on these game weeks where you can come and buy a card 2 months before this sort of game week and look to sell the week prior towards the game week starting. Hopefully that video has been useful on planning ahead on Sorare. Now, I'm as guilty as others for not planning ahead. My usual focus is building layouts for this weekend or for the midweek. It's quite difficult at the moment in time, especially towards the start of the season and in midweeks, just because we've got Europa League qualifiers, Conference League qualifiers, and Champions League. Quite difficult to plan ahead at this moment in time on Sorare, again, especially during the midweeks. But hopefully you can look ahead into October, November, December time, see which players you might need. So, for example, as mentioned at the start of the video, you might have 4 Scottish players at the moment. And you might need that one extra player when it comes to December to finish off that lineup so you compete in Challenger Europe. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you enjoyed the video, drop it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.